If it makes you money or brings us happiness, you'll find it right here. This is The Purple Tie Show. I'm Robert Martin.
I'm Blake Singleton.
And welcome to the show. We don't do the intro like we used to. Well, we got the music going and the stuff, but we had to make it to where we could do it on the road.
Yeah, and we don't need that anymore, you know.
On
Before it was like we needed that lead in.
We needed to lead in and amp up and be like, woohoo, we don't do this thing.
But not anymore.
Not anymore.
It's just you start talking and I'm like, oh, we're going.
We're talking. I just leave it on just random times. I'm just like, hey, I'm Robert Martin. And you're like, hey, I'm Blake. I'm like, yeah.
Running in from the other room.
So, this episode is going to be dedicated to all those people who are never happy. And you know which ones I'm talking about.
It's not the people that are never happy.
It's not the people. It's
the customer.
It's the customer that is never happy. The client who... Well, and it goes deeper, right? It goes deeper than just, you know... Maybe it's an issue where... And we could talk, like, for days on this subject. You know, it goes deeper than you didn't set the client expectation. Because that's on you, right? If you don't set the client expectation, that's on you. If you don't have a clear, like, goal, like a common goal.
Yes. What gets me is that here lately, whenever we have a client that just is not happy, because it's happened.
Very rarely.
I always feel like it's us not setting client expectations. But it's not until hindsight that I think...
We should have done that a little different.
Well, not even that. It's just you would never be happy. Like, the client would never be happy with anything that we did. Nothing.
No. So, and it's weird. So, what brought this subject up was we have a client that we, you know and trust and love dearly and, you know, all that good kind of stuff. And he is amazing. He's an amazing client.
Yes,
love him to death. If I had like 10 more, if he listens to this, he'll know who I'm talking about.
Yep.
If I have 10 more just like him, I wouldn't do anything else ever.
Yep.
But he had a client who, you know, ordered the wrong product from the get-go.
Yes.
The wrong product arrived, so it delayed the manufacturing process.
Right.
I'm trying not to give away what it was or who it was or any of that stuff.
It's difficult with this situation. Anyway, we'll just say that the client ordered something. It was wrong. What they ordered was wrong. But it required customization. And
after said customization, the item didn't work for the situation. Gosh, this is really difficult.
It did not work.
It didn't work for the situation
that they had ordered it.
Correct. But it had already been personalized, so you can't really
return
that.
It. So, yes.
But
anyway,
so
the client,
you know, reached out and was like, hey, this thing isn't right. It won't work. And they were like, oh, sorry, let us get you another one that will work. And then we'll customize that and get it to you. Should be, you know.
But it takes time.
It takes time. You got to
order the product, and then you've got to recustomize it, and you got to get it to the client. I mean, it's going to take time.
A week or two is, in my mind, that's a legitimate thing, right?
Typical shipping times these days are between 2 days and, you know, a week, 2 to 7 days.
It depends on if the post office has it.
We ain't even getting into the post office?
Oh, man, the post office made me mad. They've lost a hard drive. They've lost a USB-C hard drive enclosure. They've lost my wallet. That's That's a story in and of itself. They lost my wireless charger today.
They lost my wheels.
They. We should not explain that. We should just leave it with.
I bought these wheels.
The post office lost my wheels.
I'll put links in the show notes.
Hey, the wheels are awesome though. If you need something, go buy it.
Yeah.
But this customer was like, went on to
Facebook wait a second.
Google.
Hang on. Because the reason that this client went on to Facebook and Google and just pooped all over.
Well, so the customer claimed that they called and that somebody got, told them one thing and something else happened and then they're all upset. But you listen to the business side. See, I've never been in this situation where I hear the business side and the customer side and go, okay, that was just a crappy customer. I realize
we're probably biased because the business does pay us money.
Well, and the dude's a nice dude. That's the issue. If he wasn't such a nice guy, it wouldn't be an issue. But this woman goes in, blows one of his employees out, or a couple of his employees out. And what she's doing, she's raising a stink because she wants to get something her way and faster.
Yes.
And that's what we're going to, unravel today is the customer that comes in and you've given them the absolute best service possible and included a free dessert and they still go leave a 3-star and they're like, everyone could do better. I gave you a free dessert.
You know what? I have strong opinions about this because with an art background, I went to college for traditional medium whenever I was very, very young. And the art instructor that I was studying under refused to give anyone in that class an A because she said that no art was perfect. Right? But we're in school to get grades, to pass, to go on to get a job. You know what I'm saying?
That sounds like a bad teacher.
Exactly.
Now, hang on.
Exactly.
Now, here's the other thing, though. Now, you don't take criticism very well.
This isn't about criticism. This is about the grading scale.
See, look, you're already. Well, okay, I get that it's about the. I get that, but in the beginning, way back in the beginning, you'd build something, and then the customer would be like, well, I don't, and you're like, fine, if you want it to look like crap.
You're
And
not wrong.
It's not yours. It's not yours.
Oh, I can't stand that. I can't stand to...
Now, this has been several years ago. This is not recently.
What I'm talking about? Or what you're talking about?
Well, what I was talking about, but go ahead.
No. I was asking.
I'm just saying you've gotten a lot better.
It was bad. It was real bad.
Oh, it was miserable.
And I had no filter whenever I first started. So it was like, God. Okay, well, I mean, if you want it to look like hot garbage, we can make it look like hot garbage. But that's not how it is supposed to be. That's not the right way to do it.
Oh, man. Okay, so one particular person comes to mind, and we won't mention the person by name, but we designed a piece of print material for this person, and the colors were just hard. They were just hard on the eyes. Fuchsia green and 90% grays. Let me just make you upset. You know what I'm talking about.
Tell me now, and then I'll bleep it out, and we will just make everyone really curious who we're talking about. Who is it? Oh.
Okay, so the thing had so much information on it that it absolutely could not be read. And we're talking romance novel kind of. It was a lot of words.
It was very, very bad.
the pictures were blurry. Oh my God, there's like 2 people that we could be talking about right now. So person number 2, if you're listening, we're not talking about you.
I was just thinking about before that client, before Beep, there was the other client over on the other side of the river that had 100,000 things for sale.
Oh,
because we designed a piece of print material for them too, and it was
man,
it was like 5-point font and completely full.
Like, okay, if it's below
I really hate
6
that we have to. I
really
hate that we have to delete these out because
throw anyone
they're
under
out
the
of
bus.
business.
I don't want to throw them under the bus.
Okay.
If you don't want someone to read a piece of print, we have gone off on design stuff now. If you don't want somebody to read something that's in print, 6-point font or less, guarantees they won't read it.
It's borderline at 6 point. 8 points really the lowest you should go.
10's the recommended, 12's the,
Really 18 or 24
is
what you... But seriously, 42 or larger...
No. So,
so back on topic with these.
So here's the thing, though.
Squeaky wheels.
So the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and we've all been told that. We all know that. And I think it's the fact that we've been raised with that mentality of, well, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Now, I will go as far as to say, what do we do as kids? We scream and pitch a fit to try to get our way. Now, in the proper raising days, you would take them out back and beat their butt. In today's society, a lot of times, a lot of parents don't believe in that, and they use things like dog clickers, which is another whole other topic.
I'm sure that business is still going strong. If I was being honest with myself,
yeah, probably so.
Gosh, I really don't want to get off on that topic.
I'm not going to go there. So, but here's the thing, though: if you don't have discipline, if you haven't, if you're just going to go in to have dinner at a nice restaurant and just to complain to see if you can get a free dessert or money off of your next visit, why?
Right. Why?
I mean, why even bother going out? Like, if you're going to make a big deal. I have been to restaurants with business clients where the meal was absolutely disgusting. We're not talking like, it was bad. Disgusting. You don't hear me complaining. I'm not going to complain in front of especially like a client that I'm there with lunch for or whatever. No. I mean, they could literally serve me hot garbage, and I will not complain. You better bet I'll go make it known in a review somewhere.
I don't know how I would handle that situation. Maybe wait until the business meeting has ended and they've left, and then confront. But at that point, it's been so long, because business lunches tend to last a long time.
Well, I mean, if you think about the business meeting that we had with Bleep, we were at a local restaurant, and we ate.
Oh, that's right.
We were there for like 2 hours.
Yeah, and then we actually left there and went and got actual food. I remember that.
Wait, was that? No, you're not thinking about the one that I was thinking about.
Okay, well, I don't want to get off on that again, where we're trying to figure out which client lunch we're talking about, because it's, there's 100 of those a year.
You make yourself so bad when you're like, well, we went and got actual food after that.
Well, the problem that I run into oftentimes whenever I go to these business lunches, just off on a tangent again, is you don't want to seem like a little piggy. So you order the soup and salad or whatever.
Oh my God.
And you get half a sandwich and half a bowl of salad, and you're like, oh, I'm so full, so let's get on with this meeting, right? And you sit there and you gab for 2 hours trying to hash out details.
And you made yourself hungry again,
apparently. Made yourself hungry. Well, I do.
Okay,
100%.
Okay, so we're talking about customers who complain to get their way. But it's not just that. It's not just, hey, I'm going to see if I can complain to get you to, give me a free dessert. It's to the point of, I'm going to complain. I'm going to leave you a bad review. I'm going to go tell everyone I know and most people I don't know how horrible your business is if you don't, and then insert whatever they want here.
Yeah.
I've had people ask for money. Just straight out ask for money.
Yep.
I've had people ask for their repair comped, and I'm like, does it work? Well, yeah, but wait, no. You brought me something that was broken. I made it work. What more do you want? Well, I want a glass screen protector. I want this, or I want that, or they want something else for free, and you've already, you did what they paid to have done. But they nitpick. And I understand.
And they always have some tiny, usually tiny complaint.
If it's a legit concern, I'll be the first one to like, no, that's not right. Let us do it again. And if we can't fix it, I'll give you your money back.
So let's dish, right? Let's dig up some old dirt.
Oh man.
We had a technician in the computer repair shop several years ago now that straight up ripped a connector off of a main board of a MacBook Pro, and we could not fix it. We had already fixed one problem like that on a similar product, an iMac.
Yeah.
And
I got lucky with that because I fixed it.
Yeah,
I did. I was able to fix it.
And but this one was gone. There was damage to multiple components, and it was just gone. So we asked the client, "What do you want? You can buy, one of these on eBay for however much money it was at the time, or I can give you that amount of money, and you can go purchase a new one with that money, plus whatever you want to add."
Yeah, if you want to add something to it and go buy a brand new one. I am totally okay with that. This particular MacBook goes for $600 on eBay.
And he said, just give me another one on eBay. That's fine.
Yeah.
And he was 100% cool with it. And like he understood. He had brought in a difficult product to work on, or at least at the time it was difficult.
Yeah. Well, and I've written a customer a check back for, $600.
Yeah.
Because we promised one thing, couldn't deliver it, and we just gave him a full refund, apologized for the inconvenience, and that customer still uses us to this day, and will swear by us. So it's all about, I think as a business you have to be prepared to own your mistakes, and make them right. But every single business, if you've been in business more than 6 months, has had that customer that you absolutely could not, like they were unhappy before they ever hit your door. And there was nothing you were going to do.
No matter what you did.
Nope.
They were just going to be unhappy. And I'm not saying that they were just going to be unhappy with what you did for them. It's like they're in a situation where nothing is going to fix the problem.
Yeah, nothing's going to make it better. It's, it's like, so, and we'll go into another thing after this that plays hand in hand with this.
Here's what I want to hear about. I want to hear a story. Because you've got a really good story about...
I got a couple of good stories.
You've got a really good story from your early days of computer repair that will really drive home when a
Have we talked about that on here?
Not on this version. I think we did a little bit on the last one. But you've got a really good story that details when a business does something wrong and how a savvy, sneaky customer can truly hold you over the fire.
Yeah. So back a long time ago, and this has happened a few times. You know, I had a technician that went out and worked on a person's computer after hours. Well, it's been, 20 years now. So, worked on a lady's computer after hours. And reinstalled Windows and all this other stuff. And
Windows
98, I think it was. 98 second edition, I think. And
now that's important to know.
Because it's been a little while.
Well, that's important to know because of the later in the story.
Oh, yes. So, he goes and works on this computer after hours, reinstalls Windows, and says, instead of paying me, I think it was $60 or something.
Wow.
Yeah, $60 to reinstall Windows. That's
to go out to the house
and install Windows. That's so
insane.
Yeah, it was. It was really. Anyway, that's a story for another day. But he said, "Hey, instead of paying us, $60 next time, you can buy this disc and just do it yourself. I'll sell you the disc for $50 or whatever." However, it was a copy of Windows 98 because I didn't allow the technicians to use the actual legit customer copy that we're going to give the customer.
It was a burned CD.
It was a burned CD of Windows 98
that he sold to the client
for $50. So, and he kept the $50, obviously. But I would not have them unpackage the CD because I wanted to give the customer the CD in the shrink wrap and be like, here's your CD in case you ever need it. Do not lose it because this will cost you $100 to replace it. Well, it was more like $190 back then.
Yeah.
Because Windows was freaking expensive.
$250 or something.
And so he sold her the CD, and inevitably, husband looked at porn or whatever, got a virus on the computer, it was messed up again. She calls the shop, and she's, blowing me out because, my technician didn't fix it right or whatever. And I was like, when did that happen? Right? Because I knew nothing about it.
Right. This was an after-hours job.
And she was like, well, he came out here, and you're going to make it right. And I was like, well, if he came out on his own time, I ain't doing nothing. So you can take that attitude and go check it. Now, that's what today me would say. Now, 21-year-old me was like, oh, God. A mad customer. What do I do? And I hate you. And so the customer calls up and just blows me out. And I'm like, well, I can't warranty it because he did it after hours on his own time. And she was like, well, let me tell you what else he did. He sold me one of your illegal copies of Windows. And I was like, do what? Now at 21, I'm like, do what? She told me everything, and she goes, now, I will take this CD straight to the police department. I've already talked to one of the investigators, and I'm going to file piracy charges on. Well, she called it
probably fraud charges back then.
Well, no, it was. She tried to get it right. She tried to get the piracy thing, but pirating. I'm going to charge you pirating through him. And, of course, 21-year-old me was like, oh, God, I don't want to go to jail. I'm too pretty for jail. Now I'm just like, bring it on. But so what did I do? I was like, first of all, I fired him straight up. I was like, you got to take your crap and go home and not come back. So I talked to a friend of mine who owns a convenience store, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, and this is crazy, and the woman's nuts, and she's like demanding all this stuff, and I'm demanding money, and this copy of Windows, and I don't know what to do, and she's, demanding I fix the computer, and she was like, okay, sweetheart, here's what you do. And she starts pulling stuff down, and she gives me a camera, like a surveillance type hidden camera.
Right.
And she's like, you're going to go hide this. And you're going to videotape the entire process. And you're going to either have her incriminate herself, or you're going to give her a new disc, because that's what you said you wanted to do. Just give her a disc and make her go away. You're going to give her a disc, but you're going to record everything. And I set up this big elaborate thing, and this one, the shop was in my house.
Yeah.
And so I set up this big elaborate thing with like a VHS tape, because that was a thing back in those days. And I had the camera hidden in the VHS tape, and the VHS tape set up, and the Windows copy leaned up against the camera. So that the minute she walked in, I had audio recording. The minute she walked in, I walked over and I said, first of all, I'd like to, give you your legit copy of Windows. And I picked it up and slowly moved it out of the camera so it could get a real good, oh, he's moving a legit copy of Windows. And we went through the whole process. And I formatted her computer with her sitting there. We installed Windows, gave her her disk, and I said, I need to get that other copy back so I can destroy it. Because at that point I was like, nope, never again. We're opening the legit thing and doing it from the CD, or it ain't happening.
Yep.
Every single one of them, that's the way it's happening. We're not going to have copies laying around. And she said, well, I was wondering, I wonder what that's worth.
So she was thinking...
And I was like, well, it's not worth anything. It's a CD. They cost back in the day, $1.50 a piece. It cost a couple of bucks for the CD. And she goes, no, that's not what I mean. What's it worth to you? And I was like... foul language for 30 minutes. And I was like, you know what? Let me just show you something. And I busted out the tape of everything with her asking for money and the whole 9 yards. And I didn't know at the time what she was doing is called embezzlement. Extortion. That's it. Extortion. Sorry, strike that. Extortion. See, I still don't know what it's called because I don't do that because I'm not a crappy person. Anyway, extortion is when you ask or require a business or someone to give you money to not do something that you're going to do. Like tell someone's deep, dark secret if they don't give you money.
Right.
Which we had one of those just recently.
Yep.
That we'll touch on just a bit. I don't really want to get off on that because that still could end up in court and be a lawsuit. So I blew this woman out of the water, right? And I was like, let me just show you something. And I played the tape back. I said, now, what's that CD worth to you? And she was like, I think we just need to, I need to give you that CD and you need to give me that tape. And I was like, no. You are going to give me that CD. I will not give you this tape. I'll make you a copy. And that was before the days of YouTube and all the other stuff. Because let me tell you, that thing had gone straight to YouTube today. Straight to YouTube.
I don't know exactly where it is now, but I know that you still have it.
I know where it is. It's in my safe at the office.
Still?
Still.
That's where it was the last time I saw it.
There's a copy of that recording and the audio recording of that event in my safe to this day. It's 20 years old. 24 years old.
Yeah, it's insane to think of the fact that you've got this relic, basically.
I got no way to play it.
No, and hardly anybody does. But
I could probably play the WAV file.
Maybe. If you've got, a floppy drive on something. We've got the USB floppy drives that you can use. I don't even think that we should talk about the most recent extortion attempt because I don't know how close they are.
Well, I can tell you that it was a lot more money than $100 CD.
Yeah, and
it was because we wouldn't do work.
Right.
Like, we refused to, like, we didn't even, we just said, no, we don't want to be involved in it. And they were like, okay, cool. Well, pay me some money. And I'm like, I'm not, no,
that's not
no,
how this
that's
works.
that's not how this works. So, but it brings to mind, and then when our client had this happen yesterday?
Yeah,
day before yesterday? I was like, why? Why is it? And then I got to really self-checking me, right? I got to, like, self-checking back of the brain, kind of, okay. Have I ever in a restaurant, complained about a meal in hopes for getting something for free?
I've never done that.
No. Back in my younger days when, I didn't have a lot of money and, well, I don't have a lot of money now, but when I had less money than I have now, if there was something wrong with it, yeah, I'd bring it to their attention, and, maybe get something taken off or whatever. But now I'm more likely to just never go back. And I feel like there's a big majority of people are kind of like that. They're just like, I'm not going to complain. You're not going to know that I'm mad. I just won't come back.
I'm not sure if this is just something that I perceive as happening, or maybe it actually is. But it seems like there are just more choices these days than there were 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Well, 10 or 15 years ago, if you wanted a steak, you went to Western Sizzler because that was the only place to get a steak. If you wanted a buffet, Southern cooking buffet, you went to Golden Corral.
Mm-hmm.
And you had limited choices. If you wanted a steak, that's where you went. If you wanted a Southern buffet, that's where you went. But then as new things started opening up, and let's take it one step further and look at, repair companies. Computer repair used to be an elite, like, not a lot of people did it.
Yeah.
Like, when I first started, there were some few people out there doing it, but there wasn't a lot of people. And now, computer repair is dang near a commodity.
Yep.
I mean, it's just, and any time that your business gets turned into like a commodity, it devalues everything else that you do.
Oh yeah, there was that. Speaking of computer repair, there was that guy that I know we've talked about 100 times that was doing the repairs out of his truck, charging a quarter of what the typical charge was for a service charge around here.
True. So here's the thing, do you want to? It's just, you can get your phone repaired by some, kid at Starbucks.
Yes, you can.
Now, when something doesn't work right the next day, guess who you can't find?
The kid at Starbucks.
At Starbucks. If something goes wrong the next day, guess where we are?
Yeah.
We're in the same building we were yesterday. You just come back by and we make it right.
Right.
Same thing with the marketing company. You've got, I saw a Facebook post yesterday or day before, and I screenshotted it.
Yes.
I captured it. It was like a Pokemon. I caught it. But I captured the screen, and it was like, hey, I need to start a business. I want to start a business, but I have no money. That's what it was. I want to start a business, but I have no money. All right, any suggestions? The very first response was, start a digital marketing agency. You can do that for less than $100. And I'm like, you are why my job is so difficult.
Well, that's a perfect example of, somebody that is a perfect example of commoditizing happening. Because whenever we first start any business, and we've started quite a few,
Oh my God, we'll talk about those at some point.
There seems to be just nobody is doing that particular thing around us. And as time goes on, either we just didn't know about the other companies that were doing it.
It's the blue car effect.
It's the blue car effect. You're exactly right.
So, ain't nobody driving a blue car. I'm going to go get me a blue car. And then you're like, dang, those things are everywhere.
Right.
They were everywhere. You just weren't looking for them.
But it seems like once you're in the ecosystem that your particular service sits in, suddenly you're super aware of everybody else that's coming and going from that ecosystem. And whenever you see somebody like this kid who may have been 20 years old or something like that.
Hey, but he's making good money for a 20-year-old.
Well, he would be if he started a digital marketing company and was good at it. But, 2 years ago, whenever we started doing Facebook ads, before the whole thing fell out the window, it was like you couldn't throw a dead cat without hitting somebody else that was doing Facebook ads.
Why is everybody throwing dead cats? So, but here's the thing. In the marketing world, all these Facebook agencies, which is one dude in a basement.
Why is it always in a basement?
Fine. In his friend's spare bedroom while he's couch surfing, they've got this stigma that $1,500 a month is the minimum. Period. Minimum. That's the minimum of everything. And $15,000 is like there's one person who has a $15,000 club, right? Mm-hmm. So if you can make $15,000 in 1 month using his method, you get a shirt, a little trophy, and all this other stuff.
Lord have
And I'm
mercy.
just like, one, why would you limit yourself to be like, hey, $15,000, I want to be part of that club.
Well, but you also have the opposite side of that coin, where $1,500 a month is the minimum that you can charge for it. So whenever you go to approach a new client for you, who's already been approached by some other jackleg that, half knows what he's doing.
I just knew you were going to use something else to describe that, but go ahead.
But they've already said, the minimum you need to spend is $1,500 a month. And if you're not spending $1,500 a month, you're throwing away that money, which in some cases, for certain services, may be true. But whenever you label everything as $1,500 a month, suddenly you're the undervalued service provider, and people don't take you seriously.
Well, here's the thing. In digital marketing and internet marketing and marketing in general.
Okay, I apologize about that. My mother just called. My sister was recently diagnosed with lymphoma, so I needed to take that to make sure everything was okay.
Well,
and everything is currently okay. Otherwise, we wouldn't be continuing this podcast.
So, diluting the industry and why they're like, okay, why is 15,000 the magic number? Why is 1,500 the magic number? Why is 15 the magic number? However, speaking of diluting the industry, I have to throw this out. Google guaranteed contractors. Talking about commoditizing, and diluting the system.
So when I first heard about this, it was about 1.5 years ago, and I thought it was a great idea at the time. Because at the time, and I keep saying that because it's different now, at the time it seemed like a great idea because it looked like they were vetting the service providers for specific industries.
Correct. But...
And they are sort of.
So what I thought it was, because everything that Google does starts on the West Coast and works its way to the East Coast. We've known that for years and years and years. And we saw it about 1 year ago in California because we watched Google like a hawk.
Right.
We noticed it in California where Google had Oh, excuse me.
I don't know what
that was. It came from my body though. Wow. All right. So we noticed in about a year ago in California they were doing Google guaranteed like plumbers and Google guaranteed electricians. And then we also noticed where you could sort by rating. So let's say you only wanted to see anyone that had 4 stars and under, you want to see them.
Yep.
You can do that now. So we knew it was coming. We just didn't know when. And now it's in Huntsville, right?
Yeah.
Like the next city up.
Not in our city directly, but just adjacent to our city.
And so I looked up air conditioning repair companies in Huntsville, Alabama, and there was 3 Google guaranteed companies. And I was like, woo, that's cool. Let's go. Now that it's here and we can actually work with it, let's go figure out what this entails. What does it take to become? Because when it comes to this city, I'm knocking on doors and being like, hey, this is important. Listen. And no one will. And this is why it's not as important as I thought it was. So Google will guarantee the service that you receive up to $2,000 per person. I think that's per like me. Like up to $2,000 in services if I'm not happy with service companies. Not like $2,000 for that company.
It's slightly more complicated than that.
It's skewed.
But I don't want to get into it because it's difficult to explain.
So if you want to figure out what it's about, just type Google Guaranteed Business and Google's got it broke down. They'll pay if you're not happy or whatever. But basically, if you're not happy, they contact the company. The company gives you the runaround. The company gives you money back, whatever.
It's sort of like
another way of someone to complain and get their money back.
It's sort of like whenever somebody else sells their stuff on Amazon,
yes,
and you have to contact Amazon, and Amazon contacts the seller.
Oh man, or the postal service for losing your stuff.
Well, we ain't getting into that.
So, but then come to find out that this Google Guaranteed Business is nothing more than a Google ad.
It's like a special type of ad.
It's
actually a really, really complicated. Difficult ad to place, but it is an ad.
So Google verifies your insurance and your license in some cases.
Because not every service provider has to have a license to do what they do.
In every state or whatever. And see, this is why I don't think it'll last. Not people calling and complaining to Google to get their money back. Like, I think that's going to be a big issue too. But I just don't think that you can continue to vet these companies at a rate to scale this product. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, you're going to have to develop a team that does nothing but vet these businesses.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you know what kind of a badge of honor it is to say, I work at Google, when all you really do is call insurance companies and say, hey, is this person's insurance up to date?
Yeah. Are they really insured?
I know plenty of people who have done phone support or phone customer service for other businesses that would be like, oh, I work for Google.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, I work phone support.
For Google.
For Google. I was going to name another one, but I won't.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's no way that they can do this, but now what they've done is they basically made this a commodity, because now I can call any air conditioning company.
Oh, the other thing...
And whoever can get there fastest gets my money, and if I'm not happy, I'll just call Google and complain.
The other thing is, you said that they have to be willing to use Google's charge fee. Or whatever it was.
Well, you have to book it through Google, but see, I didn't find a way to do that.
Well, on that one particular one, yeah, I didn't see that.
Like, I found it very difficult to find a way to book them through Google. So
maybe
I don't know if it's
completely implemented here yet.
Here's the thing. It said it wasn't available in this area, so maybe they're figuring out. Okay, well, you're searching from, a city that it's not in yet, but why would they display the contractors?
Yeah, that's
stupid. So do you call them and be like, hey, I'm calling because you're a Google certified thingy. How does that work?
The company that we use here for all of the AC stuff here
is
listed.
Yeah, it's a Google guaranteed company, and I may call Nathan and just be like, "Hey, dude, I noticed this thing. So how does that work?"
Yeah.
You know, and just because he'll tell me. I mean, it's
are
not
they
that
based out of Huntsville?
They're in Madison.
They probably have a Huntsville address.
I think so, but
that's silly. I hate
2/3. Well, I mean, if you want to game the system, we're going to tell you how to game the system. If you want to game the system and open up a new location in a new city, you go to the post office, you get a post office box, you street address the post office, and you pay $60 for 6 months or whatever to get an address, a physical street address for Google to verify in another city.
So I'll break it down a little bit more detail for you. What he's saying is, go to whatever city you want to open a new location in and get a P.O. box. Yes, go to the post office and pay $60 or $120 and get a P.O. box for 6 months or a year.
Mm-hmm.
Then you street address the actual post office. So, if the
post...
It's like
123 Post Office Way in Huntsville, Alabama.
And then the key to that is you put your P.O. box number at the end of the street address. So if it's 123 Post Box Way, it would be 123 Post Box Way, number sign 100 for P.O. Box 100 or whatever.
But here's the thing, though, and it's really beneficial for service-based businesses that are wanting to expand their service area.
I don't know how many times I have heard service people that we've worked for say, I would love to work in Athens or Madison or whatever.
But how do I rank in the map packs?
That's not where I was going with that.
Oh my God. I've heard that too.
I've heard that too. But what I was going to say was they get customers that call in and they say, are you local? And they say, well, I'm in Moulton. Oh, well, you're 20 minutes away. I don't want to deal with you.
Yeah.
And it's like, but the people that are in your town are technically 20 minutes away if they're on the other side of the city.
Or worse, if they've got, clients back, 3 days out. It's like, I can't get to you for 3 days anyway. But you know what you can get to today?
What?
PurpleTieGuys.com. Which is where you can find us. Facebook.com/PurpleTieGuys. We'll pick this up on the next episode.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you're watching the video version,
subscribe if you haven't already. Is that's a YouTube thing? Anyway,
we're on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube.
Yeah, subscribe if you're not already, and click the like button. We'd love for you to join along. Listen, bye. Are you going?
Bye.